Welcome to the Raven for Cubase and Nuendo Software Quick Start Guide for Raven MTX and MTI. This video will get you quickly up and running so you can use these world-class, multi-touch consoles with your Cubase and Nuendo sessions. Please be aware that we'll be performing our tutorial on the 27-inch Raven MTI, and some graphics may appear slightly differently on the 46-inch Raven MTX. However, the software functionality is the same for both consoles. Last, for details on attaching the Raven to your computer or audio interface, reference your Raven user manual, located in the Raven product of your Slate account. Let's begin.
Once the package has installed, the vControl Pro shortcut will show on the desktop and the application will be located in your Program Files folder. We recommend setting vControl Pro to open when your computer starts up. To do this, right-click the vControl Pro shortcut application from the desktop and select Copy from the list. Now, on the keyboard, hit the Windows key in conjunction with the letter R, which is key command, Windows key R. The Run window will appear. Now, on the Run window, type shell:startup with no spaces and hit OK. Now, the Windows Startup folder will appear. Now, right-click within the folder and select Paste from the drop-down menu. This will paste the vControl Pro application to this folder and will instruct Windows to open vControl Pro on startup. Note: do not attempt to use a different version of vControl Pro as they will not work with the Raven. Now, right-click your taskbar and select Properties. Make sure all of the options here are unchecked, except for the Auto Hide Taskbar option. Confirm that the taskbar location is set to Side or Top. Also, be sure that the taskbar buttons are set to Always Combine Hide Labels. Now, hit Apply and close the window. Once the vControl, Cubase, and Raven application are open, check that communication is correct by selecting vControl from the System tray and opening the Setups menu. Steinberg Cubase will be lit up in the DAW section and Raven will show in the Controller section. Once the DAW and Raven are connected, they will show in the top Setups tab. Now, open up the About vControl section and it will show the current IP address and also show that vControl Pro is unlicensed. Please note that although this is an unlicensed version of vControl, it doesn't need to be licensed to work with the Raven. There may be prompts to license the software, however there is no need to purchase vControl Pro if only using with the Raven. Be sure to follow along with this section to properly configure your DAW with Raven. First, open vControl and confirm it is showing in the System tray. Next, launch Cubase or Nuendo along with a project containing some tracks. Once the project is open, launch the Raven MTI or MTX application from the desktop shortcut. Once the Raven is open, synchronize it with Cubase and Nuendo by touching Settings on the Raven toolbar and hit Raven Setup. This will automatically configure your Raven control surface with Cubase and/or Nuendo for you by adding vControl Pro in the device setup and adjusting the Steinberg preferences for best operation with the Raven. To perform the setup manually, launch vControl and then Cubase or Nuendo and open a project. First, you'll need to import and select our custom Raven key commands for Cubase and Nuendo. After launching Cubase or Nuendo, open the key commands preferences from the File menu. Click the key command drop-down menu and then select from the list Steinberg Raven key commands. Once selected, click OK. Note: when reopening the key commands window, it will remove the visual confirmation of the Raven key commands text from the box. However, once selected, they will remain set in the application until otherwise changed. Now that the custom key commands are assigned, we'll navigate to the Menu tab and select Device Setup. Now, we'll click the plus symbol button on the Device Setup window and select vControl Pro from the list. Then, click the Bank button and set it to 24 and press Apply. Once completed, close the Device Setup window and navigate to the File menu and open Preferences. Then, select Project and Mix Console in the Editing tab of the Preferences window and uncheck Sync Selection in Project window and Mix Console. This will make sure that the Mix Console doesn't automatically bank without the Raven internal mixer. If this remains checked, selecting track 32 in the Project window will force the Mix Console to scroll to track 32. The Raven internal mixer will not receive the information from Steinberg about this banking change, so it will remain in the same state it previously was set, and the Raven internal mixer will lose alignment. Most users may also prefer unchecking Enable Record on selected track, since every track that is selected with touch will go into record mode if this is on. Note: all banking will need to be done with the Raven Bank 1 and Bank 24 buttons, since scrolling with the mouse in the mix console will cause a misalignment of the Raven internal mixer. Now, the Stop button will press down, and this is how to confirm Raven is now configured with Cubase and/or Nuendo. To double-check communication, open the V-Control setups from the system tray, and Steinberg and Raven will be highlighted in the setups. If you have calibrated for the Raven dual or triple setup, locate your Cubase or Nuendo mix console on the left or main display and the project window on the right display. The Raven also installs default workspaces, so choose Workspace 3 to automatically align the windows for dual setup. The Raven software has the option to choose between 3 main 24-channel mixers. The first is called the external mixer labeled Extern mixer. This is our own design mixer that covers the entire Raven screen and sits on top of Cubase and Nuendo. The channel settings window and plugins will hover above this mixer. The other mixer is called the internal mixer labeled Intern mixer. This integrates directly into the Cubase and Nuendo mix console windows seamlessly by covering the Cubase fader caps with our own multi-touch mixer and fader caps. The last mixer is called the floating mixer and can be set to 8, 16, and 24 tracks. This mixer is best when used when adjusting levels in the project window. To access the Raven internal mixer, use the Project Mix button located here to toggle between the project and mix console. This Project Mix button uses Workspace 1 and 2 to recall the windows, and these workspaces will be installed with the Raven software, so be sure the Window Layouts option is checked when installing the software. Note: on dual Raven, these buttons will not be shown, as the Raven mixer must always be shown on the main display in dual mode. After running the installer, the Raven workspaces will be added globally into Cubase. To confirm they were installed, click the Workspaces menu tab and confirm the Raven workspaces are showing. These workspaces are also mapped to the Raven Steinberg key commands, so be sure those are selected in the key command preferences. The Cubase project window is mapped to Alt-1, and the Cubase mix console is mapped to Alt-2 on the keyboard. Press these key commands to automatically recall the project and mix window and their correct alignment. If these workspaces are not showing, it is possible the presets folder has not been created in the Cubase preferences on this system, so the Raven installer was unable to add them in the correct place. To add manually, first create a test workspace to create the presets folder, close down Cubase, and then reinstall the workspaces from the Raven installer. Open the Raven installer and hit OK. Then, instead of running the uninstaller, click Cancel to go to the next step. Now in the checkbox, only select Window Layouts. Now Raven will add the workspaces in the correct folder. To manually align, open the Mix console and in Cubase 9, click the drop menu on the top right of the screen and click the Setup Window Layout button here. Note, on Cubase 8, this drop menu will be shown on the top left. Now, for the options, we'll select Equalizer Curves, Channel Racks, and Channel Selector to align with the internal mixer. All other options here should not be selected. Note: Confirm Control Room Mixer is not selected. Next, we'll need to remove the input and output tracks from the mix console since these types of tracks do not send controller data to Raven and V-Control. From the Track Configurations tab on the top left, remove inputs and outputs by deselecting them from the list like this. Hiding these tracks will ensure the Raven internal mixer faders will correspond correctly to the Cubase mix console. If you're using Cubase 9, be sure also to hide all sampler tracks in the mix console as these tracks do not show on the Raven mixer either. Note: if your workflow depends on these input and output tracks, it is possible to set up Mix Console 2 to show these tracks as well as the control room mixer. However, the internal mixer will not be able to be used in this type of Mix Console configuration. Last, we'll need to make sure we have a maximum of 24 tracks showing. Use the key commands G and H on the keyboard to set your mixer to display 24 tracks, like this. All of the Raven fader caps should be showing correctly and not hanging over the edge of the mix console, as well as no extra Cubase faders should be showing after the last Raven internal mixer fader cap. Note: banking 24 or one track at a time will not work correctly unless 24 tracks are showing. So if you notice the internal mixer is off by one track, then it is possible the tracks aren't zoomed out enough. Confirm alignment by ensuring the tracks are seamless between Cubase or Nuendo and Raven. This alignment is detailed to the pixel, so a minor misalignment will result in an alignment failure. Be sure to align accurately before proceeding. If using multiple displays, you may want to utilize different workspace configurations to take advantage of the extra screen real estate. This will require setting up the workspaces manually. To do this, recall Workspace 1 by using Alt-1 or selecting it from the Workspaces menu. Drag the edges of the project window above the Raven toolbar so it is not covered by the Raven. Then drag all other windows to your other displays such as the Mix Console, Piano Roll, or Editor and select Update Workspaces from the Workspaces menu to lock in the changes. Next, open Workspace 2 by using Alt-2 or selecting it from the Workspaces menu. Drag the Mix window above the Steinberg menu items and release the window. It will automatically reposition to the highest point. Then, drag the bottom of the mixer up above the Raven toolbar, leaving about half of the bottom screen empty like so. Now, on the Channel Selector tab, we'll first grab the bottom of the mix window here and align the Cubase yellow or white outline with the Raven red guideline. Then, we'll align the top of the Track Faders window with the provided red guideline at the top. We'll adjust the fader size by clicking and dragging the area where the channel selector meets the first fader here. If using a second display, drag the project window over to that display, resize it, then update the current workspaces to save the window layout. Note: you can hit Hide Raven if necessary to make it easier to grab the corners of the mix console. I can select multiple tracks in the Raven internal mixer by hitting the black modifier button labeled Shift on the Raven toolbar, then selecting the furthest track. In the Raven external mixer, I can quickly select tracks by toggling the black Control modifier button and swiping my finger across the tracks. The Raven installer has included custom Raven workspaces for Cubase and Nuendo designed to work in conjunction with your batch commands. Use Workspace 1 for the Cubase project window. Here, you can adjust how many Raven toolbar racks you would like visible and adjust the size of the edit window accordingly. Use Workspace 2 for the Cubase Mix Console window. This will bring up the Raven internal mixer, which can only have one rack. To program a batch command, push and hold one of the batch command buttons. If empty, the menu will appear blank. However, if you are overriding a batch command with previous programming, hit the Clear All button in the batch command menu and the button will be ready for programming. To enter a key command, hit the Key Command button on the Batch Command menu, and then enter your desired key command. To the right of the key command on the command line, you can add delay to the key command prior to launch or even add a number of repetitions you would like the command to perform before moving to the next line in the command sequence. As an example, let's make a batch command that will create 5 new mono audio tracks. Hit the Key Command button and enter Control-Option-A. Next, hit the Key Command button and add Enter. Then, add 100 milliseconds to each of the delay times by clicking in the delay time area with the mouse. Repeat this command 5 times by selecting both batch commands and hitting Duplicate 5 times. Now, I'll name the batch command 5 new audio tracks and give it a color by touching one. To save this batch command for future use, I hit the Save button. It is now located in my User tab to quickly recall later. To lock in this custom batch command into my Open Batch Command button, simply hit Confirm on the Batch Command menu and now try touching the batch command and watch it create 5 new audio tracks for you automatically. In the Batch Command menu, you can also access preset batch commands as well as the custom batch commands you have saved. Touch the Quicklist button to open access to preset menu item and mouse-click items to program into your command line. Let's create a batch command that will add my favorite plugin to my selected track and save it to our Quicklist user tab. First, hit the Quicklist button, and in the search bar on the top, let's type Add Custom Plugin Insert 1 Project Window and select it from the list. Then add 1000 milliseconds delay time to give the mouse enough time to click the insert. Next, type in the name of the plugin, in this instance, Virtual Mix Rack. First, hit Key Command and type in the name of the plugin. To add the spacebar in between the words, press Key Command and enter a spacebar action. Hit the Key Command button again and add the return key to instantiate the plugin. Then add 1000 milliseconds after the return key to give the plugin time to open. Next, search the Quicklist for Hide Channel Settings and Plugins project window. Then add 1000 milliseconds delay time by clicking in the Delay tab. Next, in the Quicklist search bar, let's type Add Custom Plugin Insert 2 and select it from the list. Then add 1000 milliseconds delay time to give the mouse enough time to click the insert. Next, type in the name of the plugin, in this instance, Eosis E2. First, hit Key Command and type in the name of the plugin. To add the spacebar in between the words, press Key Command and enter a spacebar action. Hit the Key Command button again and add Return to instantiate the plugin. Then add 1000 milliseconds after the return key to give the plugin time to open. Search the Quicklist for Hide Channel Settings and Plugins project window, then add 1000 milliseconds delay time by clicking in the Delay tab. Next, search the Quicklist again for Add Custom Plugin Insert 3 and select it from the list. Then add 1000 milliseconds delay time to give the mouse enough time to click the insert. Next, type in the name of the plugin, in this instance, Multiband Compressor. Hit the Key Command button again and add Return to instantiate the plugin. Let's name it Vocal Plugin Chain, give it a color, and hit Save. Now, let's put it into action. Simply select the tracks you wish to add the vocal plugin chain to and hit our newly created custom batch command and watch it do the work for you. Let's create a batch command that will create a visibility configuration for the selected tracks. First, open a batch command and hit Key Command, then type the key command to show selected tracks, which is Shift-Alt-T, then add a little delay by clicking into the batch command delay tape and type in 500 milliseconds. Next, use the key command to create a new visibility configuration, which is Alt \, and give this a delay of 500 milliseconds. Next, hit Key Command and type Acapella. To add a space between the names, hit Key Command again and type in spacebar. Next, hit Key Command and type in Tracks. Last, hit Key Command and type in Enter to close the visibility configuration dialog. To get back to previously shown tracks, hit Key Command again and enter the key command to show all tracks, which is Control-Shift-Alt-O. Then save the batch command as Create Acapella and configure and save the batch command and give it a color. Now we can bring up this visibility configuration with the key command Control-Alt-Shift-1 or use the batch command in the floating window to recall this configuration. We've shown you a lot of great preset batch commands across your layouts, and I've also shown you how to customize your own batch commands using key commands and Quicklist items. Another really powerful feature to the batch command system is the ability to record your own custom mouse clicks. Let's record a mouse click to name a track. First, push and hold a batch command, then press the red record button. Next, double-click the name of the track in the Inspector tab, and then type in the name. Save the recording and then go into the User Quicklist and add this recording in the editor. Give it a name and color and press the batch command to watch it name the selected track. The Raven software requires the following minimum computer requirements to function properly. Raven will not work on an operating system earlier than Windows 7. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend a computer with a minimum of 2.3 GHz processing power, a graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. We are available for you to answer questions or comments Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via our online support help desk, slatesupport.com. From all of us here at Slate, thank you for your attention and welcome to the future of studio control.